Welcome to Session 4 of the Trade module. In this final session, we explore practical applications of EBA in support of mission objectives and also where to access EBA data and complementary resources beyond this module. In Session 4, we will explore how to apply EBA benchmarking data in support of GFSS objectives, including to A. Identify priorities, B. Generate competition, and C. Monitor results. Correlations among EBA indicators and customized indicator combinations in support of mission objectives. The broader context to inform policy reform prioritization process. Where to access EBA data and supporting legal and regulatory documents. And complementary resources to inform trade policy dialogue and decision-making. Feed the Future efforts under the Global Food Security Strategy aim to strengthen inclusive agriculture systems that are productive and profitable, and strengthen and expand access to markets and trade. This, in turn, leads to agricultural-led growth, improved food security, improved food availability, and poverty reduction. As you have learned in previous sessions, the World Bank's Enabling the Business of Agriculture project measures key factors in the enabling environment that influence the productivity, profitability, and inclusiveness of agribusiness systems. The Markets Indicator measures three facets of market access, while other indicators measure import, licensing, permitting, and registration restrictions of key agricultural inputs and services. Statistical analysis of EBA data attests to the complementary nature of the 8 EBA topics. The correlations among any pair of EBA indicators is positive and ranges between 0.13 and 0.68. For example, this figure illustrates that solid and efficient rules on plant protection and trade in agricultural products are associated with better rules for importing and controlling the quality of essential agricultural inputs, such as fertilizer. That is to say, reforms in different areas that EBA measures are complementary. Practitioners can apply this principle by combining different elements of the EBA data to reflect the most relevant topics of the country context. EBA creates a benchmark, or a set of data points, against which progress can be measured over time. Accordingly, there are three main uses of EBA benchmarking data. 1. Prioritizing areas for reform. A multi-country benchmarking index can be an effective tool for donors and policymakers in identifying priority areas of reform, incentivizing action, and monitoring impact to hold both to account over time. EBA strengthens the information base that can be used for policy dialogue and reform. 2. Creating a sense of competition among countries. A benchmarking tool can spur action by encouraging competition and learning between countries. Where a country scores poorly vis-a-vis the global average or against its neighbors, international reporting of the scores can ignite domestic support for reform and motivate policymakers to act. And 3. Monitoring tool. Scored by an outside observer and updated regularly, EBA is also a tool that can be used to monitor improvements in the agribusiness enabling environment in a way that creates accountability of a government to its citizens and of donor partners to their home constituencies. Ethiopia, for example, demonstrates weak scores for the fertilizer, markets, and ICT indicators. Depending on mission priorities, stakeholder input, and the government's willingness to reform, the EBA indicators can serve as a starting point for dialogue leading to a policy reform. Looking closer at the indices comprising the markets indicator, Ethiopia's GTF scores highlight three areas with the weakest legal and regulatory framework: plant protections, agricultural trade, and the number of documents required to export agricultural goods. Drilling down further into the markets indicator identifies reasons for Ethiopia's low plant protection score. Ethiopia's detailed responses to the plant protections questionnaire reveal that a list of regulated quarantine pests is not maintained and made available to producers. Little information is available to producers regarding plant pests and diseases, and no government agency is required by law to conduct pest risk analysis for imports of plant products, among other regulatory gaps. Performance can also be evaluated against other countries in the region. Benchmarking of data can help to generate a sense of competition and incentivize policy reform. Benchmarking can also highlight countries that can provide good examples of related laws and regulations. For example, Zambia's agricultural trade laws and regulations could provide Ethiopia with some guidance in this area. The World Bank facilitates this process by providing links to supporting legal and regulatory documents through its law library. Finally, EBA can serve as a transparent third-party indicator to monitor performance over time, particularly in prioritized topics. When engaging in the reform prioritization process, consider that EBA indicators reflect only what is measured and don't include evaluation of human capacity, enterprise competitiveness, and market dynamics. It is important to consider the indicators within the broader economic context. Factors such as global market trends, the importance of private food safety standards, tariff regimes, market infrastructure, business acumen, factors of production, climate change, and social and gender bias influence trade and market access in addition to supportive legal and regulatory frameworks. Avoid common pitfalls by asking key questions such as, are these the right reforms to achieve Feed the Future goals? Are we addressing the root causes of the problem or only the symptoms? Does our approach engender country ownership of the reform process? In order to better understand EBA data within the broader context of trade policy for a particular country, it is useful to consider other sources of information. As discussed in this session, the trade topic covers a wide range of interconnected topics. Consequently, there are often a plethora of resources that can be useful to policy reform dialogue. Complementary to EBA data are reports on various trade topics, such as World Trade Organization country reports on market access issues, agricultural trade data from a number of sources, including UN Comtrade, TradeMap, FAO Stat, and others. Of these, Comtrade is the world's largest database of trade statistics and is considered the main global source of trade statistics in goods, covering more than 95% of world trade. Analysis of measures taken by countries to comply with the provisions of the International Plant Protection Commission. The World Bank's Doing Business, Trading Across Borders indicator measures the time and cost associated with the logistical process of exporting and importing goods. And specialized reports such as country-specific value chain studies of particular agricultural products or trade policy reviews. EBA data and supporting legal and regulatory documents are available online. To access specific survey questions and responses that comprise indicator scores, go to the World Bank's EBA website, www.eba.worldbank.org. There, you may select data by country, select a country, and you can either see the data directly on the website by selecting the topic, such as markets, and expanding the information you seek, or you may export the data to an Excel document. Here, the Markets Plant Protection Indicator has been expanded with access to survey questions, country responses, and corresponding scores. Legal documents that were referenced are cited here also. The EBA Law Library is a new World Bank resource for website users who wish to further explore the data by consulting the laws and regulations examined by the EBA project. To browse available links to copies of laws and regulations, choose either a country or a topic area from the selection menus on the website. The World Bank has analyzed the EBA data in its 2017 report with a unique section dedicated to the finance topic. Details on the methodology for all indicators is available also. The Markets Methodology link is provided here. The World Bank Reform Simulator, also available online, allows users to adjust values of any indicators of an economy and see what impact this would have on the economy's overall ranking. USAID has created summaries of EBA data for 20 countries, including all Feed the Future priority countries with the exception of Honduras. Finally, other EBA training modules available online examine finance as well as the EBA overview. Now let's recap what we've learned. In Session 4, we explored how to apply EBA benchmarking data in support of GFSS objectives, including to A. Identify priorities, B. Generate competition, and C. Monitor results. Correlations among EBA indicators and customize indicator combinations in support of mission objectives. The broader context to inform policy reform prioritization process. Where to access EBA data and supporting legal and regulatory documents, and complementary resources to inform trade policy dialogue and decision-making. Next, let's check what we've learned through a set of 3 quiz questions. Question 1. Benchmarking can be used to blank across countries. A. Highlight positive examples of laws and regulations. B. Generate competition and foster policy reform. C. Compare scores on the same indicators. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 2. Is this statement true or false? EBA indicators evaluate human capacity, enterprise competitiveness, and market dynamics. A. True. B. False. Correct, the answer is false. EBA indicators measure the quality and efficiency of laws and regulations, not human capacity, enterprise competitiveness, or market dynamics. Question 3. Is the statement true or false? EBA indicators can serve as a starting point for dialogue leading to policy reform when they are aligned with mission priorities, stakeholder input, and the government's willingness to reform. A. True. B. False. That's right. The answer is true. Do you need additional technical assistance or support for enabling environment policy reform? The Feed the Future Enabling Environment for Food Security project is a global support mechanism designed to assist Feed the Future-focused and aligned missions as they work to address legal, institutional, and market constraints affecting food security. Launched in late 2015, it is managed by the USAID Bureau for Food Security's Office of Market and Partnership Innovations. For more information, contact Lourdes Martinez Romero at lmartinezromero@usaid.gov or Nate Klein at nklein@fintrack.com. Congratulations, you've completed the final session. Please take a few minutes to let us know if the training was helpful, any changes you'd like to see in the EBA methodology, and any other feedback. These comments and questions may be directed to Lourdes Martinez Romero or Nate Klein, whose contact information is on the screen.